Hello and welcome back to another X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Arc Gaming. Once again, my name is Phil. This game was recorded at Entoyment Wargaming and Hobby Centre in Poole. I am joined once again by my good friend.
It's James. I'm returning once more to help Phil with some commentary.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for coming back, James. Had a great time last time. A lot of people liked the video, so that was really good. So more than happy to have you back on. So as is the usual format for one of these videos, what we're going to do, we are going to break down those lists, talk to you about what we think is good and exciting about them, have a little bit of commentary about what's happening in the game, and probably just talk a load of rubbish about Star Wars halfway through because, well, that's what we like to do. So on the subject of breaking down those lists, James, did you want to break down Madbots list for us?
Yeah, I'll take over the Rebels. Starting off, we've got 10 Num with no upgrades, followed by Jake Farrell in the A-Wing with Predator. Then we've got K2SO from the, is it Hot Shots and Aces pack?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, the expansion pack. He does actually have Pivot Wing, it's just not showing up on here. And then we've got 2 Grey Squadron Bombers in Y-Wings with the R4 Astromech and dorsal turrets.
Now, I have actually flown against this list, and those Grey Squadron Bombers are actually surprisingly good, especially with that dorsal turret. Madbots is very good with flying those. He knows exactly what he wants to do.
He knows where to point those guns.
He knows where to point those guns, and unfortunately those guns tend to be pointed exactly where I did not want them to be. So I was flying a dual decimator list against that, and although very good fun, not quite as effective as I was hoping.
Yeah, also 5 ships in a list, that aren't all the same thing at low pilot skill. It's interesting because keeping them all together or in formation can be tricky, but you say that he's got the hang of it.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Yeah, he's flown this list a lot, and he's very, very good with it. And it was great to play against him, and I'm really glad to be able to get him onto the camera as well. So against Madbots, we have Scott, who is running a Separatist list, flying 3 Nantex. Now, I know people are probably quite used to seeing 6 Nantex at the moment on the board. Fortunately, no one I know locally actually owns 6 of them, but we do have 3 on the board. And we have, as ever, Sunfac on there with Gravitic Deflection and Ensnare. Gravitic Deflection, for those of you who aren't as familiar with the Nantex or the Separatists, while you defend, you may reroll 1 defense dice for each tracted ship in the attack arc. Ensnare, a very expensive upgrade at 28 points on Sunfac. At the end of the activation phase, if you are tracted, you may choose 1 ship in your turret arc at range 0 to 1 and transfer 1 tractor token to it. So that can be quite dangerous at range 1. We've also got Chertek, again with Gravitic Deflection and Ensnare. And we have, rounding out the list, we have Gorgle, just with Ensnare. That's a very heavy bid on there. It's only 187 points for that list, so very much looking for that bid to get Sunfac knowing exactly where they want to be and deciding who's having the initiative.
I mean, he's got a pilot skill 4 against Madbots, 2 highest being pilot skill 4, and Gorgol is also initiative 2 against the Grey Squadron pilots that are initiative 2, so the bid should work in his favour.
Yeah, but it looks like here initiative has actually gone to Madbots, so what we can assume from that is that Scott wants to have that perfect information of where things have gone first so that he can then use the pinpoint tractor array ability to, if needs be, boost or barrel roll his ships. And for those of you that aren't familiar with pinpoint tractor array, it states you cannot rotate your arc to the rear. After you execute a maneuver, you may gain 1 tractor token to perform a rotate action. Now, what's interesting about this is that you don't have to fully execute a maneuver, and even if you have bumped, you can still do this because it does not So the tractor token does not class as an action. So you can give yourself a tractor, barrel roll yourself out of the way, and then you can move that arc. So it's a very powerful tool that those Nantex have there. So it'd be quite interesting to see how he manages to utilize that against so many ships against him.
Yeah, 3-on-5 initially doesn't sound particularly great for the Nantex, but with all of their tractor beam shenanigans, who knows what could happen. I think one thing that we should note is the layout of the rocks and the obstacles in this because of the tractor beams, and it's kind of this backwards L shape with the one bit of debris up in the top left corner.
Yeah, so very much placing them. It looks like Scott knows that he's going to be going past those and doesn't want those in his way, so that he can have a lot of freedom of movement there. And it looks like we've got Sunfac is going to be the one coming around the outside there, with Gorgel next to him and Chertek going closer to the centre of the board. So potentially looking to see there what's going to happen. I mean, initially looking at these lists, which one, I know that you're a big Rebel fan, but which one do you favour at the moment? Which do you think is going to have the...
I mean, I've not gone against that many Nantex, so I'd feel more comfortable flying the Rebels, definitely. But the one time I did fly against an Nantec, it really messed me up. So 3 of them would probably really mess me up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting.
I mean,
What do you reckon?
So I don't know whether my opinion on the Nantex has been coloured by what I've seen elsewhere with the 6 Nantex flying, or just hearing about Sunfac with Ensnare and Gravitic Deflection. Personally, I'd be more comfortable with the Rebels list as well. I don't own any Separatists and I've never flown them. I've very rarely flown against Separatists at the moment as well. But it's an interesting list, and with that very high bid there, it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens. I mean, looking at the abilities that you have on there is a lot of potential on there. I mean, with Ensnare, being able to pass that tractor token at the end of the activation phase really does favour Sunfac, as while you perform a primary attack, if the defender is tracted, roll 1 additional attack die. So you essentially tractor yourself to reposition yourself, try and see if you can get a bullseye arc on there, then pass that tractor token off to your opponent, and you end up having a 4 dice shot in the bullseye arc with your opponent having -1 agility, and that is quite scary.
Yeah, if you can pull off that combination of setup and execution, then well done. You deserve that shot.
I mean, especially with Sunfac being the one flying last here, he has perfect information of knowing, right, I know where you're going to be, and he has the best opportunity of setting that up. I mean, it's a very scary concept, but when you look at it on the flip side, these Nantex only have 4 hull.
And no shields.
No shields. They are the proverbial glass cannons. So you start biting into that hull, and they can go down very quickly. And there's no crit protection there either for them with the shields.
But 3 of 8 dice have proven useful to many aces lists in the past. So
true. And with them being able to reposition themselves, that's where their power is, to get themselves into a position where they can shoot, and ideally the enemy cannot. With those Y-wings, that's going to be a bit tricky, as they essentially have a 180 arc if they've got their dorsal turret to the side or even the back. They've got a lot of coverage there.
Yeah, and you've got K2 in the the U-wing having the slightly wider base as well to
Yeah.
cover more area.
Yeah, so there is a lot of scope. It's all going to come down to how does Madbots position himself to have good board control? Does he get his arcs in a wide enough spread that no matter where these Nantex go, he can still get shots on them? And can he also potentially focus fire them down one at a time? Obviously, focus firing any ship down is always the best option if you can get more fire on one ship at one time. But especially with full hull, they could go down really quickly.
Yeah, if they lose tokens and don't get their bonuses, then great. It looks like Madbots is sort of hanging towards the top of the field, trying to, I guess, maybe lure the Separatists into that open space in the middle, maybe? But it looks like he's just gunning it down his side of the board to, I guess, try and flank. Get behind the rebels a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this, it makes me think that Scott has practiced this.
It feels like a very rehearsed opening gambit.
And I think with a list like this, you do sort of have to know what you want to do with it. You don't want to go in without a plan, because if you go without a plan, that's where things are going to go wrong, especially with these ships.
I found that loads.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the plan can completely change from the moment they make their first move or the first engagement, but it is always good to have some form of an idea. I mean, I've flown lists where I've gone, I think this is okay, and it's gone horribly wrong. And then other lists I've gone, this is what I'm going to do. I will not deviate from that plan unless something seriously causes me to, and they tend to work a lot better.
I like the games where you start off and you go, oh, this is going to go terrible. And then you come out the other end and you go, actually, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah. No, I mean, the aim of the game is to blow up the enemy's ships before yours blow up. But I think the actual aim of the game is to have fun and enjoy what you're doing. And it's always good to learn from a game as well. If you come out from a game and you think, actually, I did this, but if I'd have done that instead, that could have gone better, or, oh, what they did there, I need to be more aware of that. It gives you that extra knowledge. It's always really good.
What do you think of this lowrider A-wing? Peg?
It is interesting. For me, I do tend to run my ships on at least a single peg. Partly that's because 95% of my ships are magnetized, so if I tried to do that, they wouldn't stay on. But I see some people, they like to run theirs on 2, 3, sometimes even 4 pegs, and I just always feel really uncomfortable.
4 is too much.
Yeah, I think running them high is quite extreme. The only time I'll do that is if I'm running maybe multiple large base ships, or ships that have a tendency to go over their base. I might have 1 or 2 slightly higher to counteract that. When I ran the double decimators, I had 1 on 1 and 1 on 2, so that if they did get close, then they weren't interfering with each other. But I do like it. It kind of adds to the small, nimble feel of the A-Wing with it being so low. Almost like it's hugging the surface. Like if it goes near those asteroids, it's almost like it's hugging the surface of that asteroid.
Yeah, I'm just going to get real close to it. Hang on, guys. Although it does make measuring for Predator a little tricky.
Yeah, I do actually agree with that. Unless you're able to get unless you're in a position where you can get like a 1 or 2 distance range peg in there. Not sure what that was about, but obviously if you can get a 1 or a 2...
Did he just bump into his own U-wing?
I think he did.
I mean, he's fairly safe. It's just now he's at a slightly odd angle.
True, and he's stressed, so it'll be harder for him to turn around, but...
Well, it's 10 numb, he doesn't mind being stressed.
Well, he doesn't mind being stressed if there's some form of shooting going on around him. But I know what you mean.
I think he had that stress from last time, though. I think that was just a white maneuver. I think he's just keeping hold of that stress.
Just in case. I mean, obviously, it's still a very cagey affair at the moment.
Yeah, both players are vying for the right opening to go on the attack.
Yeah. And Scott has swapped sides now. So, again, this is very much like a well-rehearsed opening. So what I'm anticipating now is I know for a fact that Scott is going to turn up the board because he's got nothing else to do. So we know that. But I'm anticipating now for Madbots to start coming in down the centre of that board.
Yeah, I mean, he's lined up Jake to do a number of different maneuvers to try and get behind these Nantex, whilst presumably the rest of the rebels just do a gradual turn into the fight.
Yeah. I mean, if you were flying Jake right now, would you be turning towards the engagement, or would you be continuing to try and get behind those Nantex, knowing especially that the Nantex can't turn their arc to the rear?
Well, with Jake?
Yeah.
I would definitely try and get behind so that when you do engage them, your other rebel ships are also in range. Because otherwise, it's one A-wing. I mean, yes, it's Jake and he's got Predator, but on his own, he's not going to push through damage, I don't feel.
No, I think that's one of the things that is quite limiting with the A-wing. I mean, it's a great ship. It looks really cool, but it doesn't quite feel like it's got that... It doesn't hit quite hard enough. Yeah. Yes, it's almost like a puppy in a way. Really fast, really excited.
The Resistance A-wings have access to things like tech upgrades.
Yeah,
with the advanced optics, which help them at least get more consistent attacks. Whereas the Rebel A-wings, I think need a little bit of love.
Yeah. I think something that myself and Quinn, who has commentated on the channel before with this, was talking about the new talent, Deadeye Shot, is potentially something that's going to be quite interesting to put onto an A-wing, especially if you combo that with something like marksmanship. Both bullseye effects, and you can trigger marksmanship to get that crit, then use Deadeye Shot to turn that crit to a hit and expose a damage card on the enemy.
Yeah.
So there's a way of giving those A-wings a few more teeth. And especially with Deadeye Shot being a 1-point upgrade, it's a very interesting card.
Is that all it is? Okay.
Yeah. 1 point, it was... When I saw that, I was like, okay, that's really cool. And then Quinn said, what if you did this? And I was like, wow, okay, Deadeye Shot, marksmanship, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm having a look at Deadeye Shot now. I kind of want to try it on Thane Kyrell, just to double up on exposing damage cards.
Yeah. It is.
That could be fun.
Yeah, it is a nice little upgrade. Well, I'm looking forward to trying that on a few lists. So, again, a 1-point upgrade. Yes, it's only bullseye, but it could be so powerful.
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of lists like these Separatists, most of the time the cheaper talents end up being the ones used. Like, there's this new one coming out for Resistance. This sounds pretty fun, but at the same time, you could just spend 1 point on heroic.
Yeah. Which is the new one you're on about? That's not the Mark Sable. Or is it one from the?
It's from the new Resistance pack that's coming out. I can't quite remember the name of it. Maybe.
Well, the Marksable closure. After you fully execute maneuver, if you move to an obstacle, structure, or huge ship, or if you deployed, you may choose one enemy ship in your forward arc at range 1 to 2. That ship gains 1 strain token.
No, that's not what I'm thinking of.
Well, that one does look quite tasty. Be interesting to see how many points that is. I'm trying to think of the other new upgrades that are coming out. There's quite a few interesting cards coming out in some of the new packs. Is it the one that's specifically for the A-Wing?
No, it's the one that's specifically for the T-70.
Oh,
Actually, no, it's X-Wings, so the Rebels can take it. It's like if you roll, you can roll through obstacles, and if you do, you get an evade or something like that.
I know, yeah, I can't remember what it's called. I do remember seeing that and thinking, okay.
But it's a lot of setup just to get an evade token, and you're probably also going to be stressed because you barrel rolled. And it's just like, why would you not just take heroic?
Yeah. Well, if you're putting it on a 265, that's why you didn't take heroic.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, that does sound pretty cool. It sounds almost like a slightly different variation on collision detector.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which again is a card I actually quite like. I've had that on Phantoms before. Allowing you to decloak over things is really handy and removes that difficulty of being, oh well, now I can't decloak. But anyway, having a look back at the game, so we can see that they are now starting to turn back down the board. It was a bit slower from Jake there, but it's still looking like he's aiming to try and get behind those Nantex.
Yeah, it looks like the Nantex are going to get their engagement out in the open though, so no worries about rocks being in their way for their tractor beam self-repositioning stuff.
Yeah, true. They look like they've got a clear shot to turn in there. So it's not going to be a problem for them.
Although on the model, K2's wings are in the forward position, and I mean, it's usually in the, we're in the attack form, or has he actually left it in the stopping one? I can't quite tell from the cards.
Yeah, it's quite difficult for the cards. Unfortunately, there's no sort of marker out there like you get the T65, T70 wings closed marker, but we'll see what
actions he does. How many dice he rolls. Yeah. I mean, I guess K2 is more of the sort of the support U-wing rather than the attack ones, because he can coordinate and still get a token himself.
Yeah, which is, again, really handy. And where he's going after the Y-Wings and before Jake and Tendum, he has a bit of utility to go, right, who am I actually going to do that on?
So K2 could coordinate a boost or barrel roll onto Jake, who could then trigger his ability. Is that the timing on that?
Oh, do not even get me started on the timing of Jake Farrell. Jake Farrell.
I've not used him for a while.
So he has such the craziest way that he can be used. I was looking through the FAQ the other day, and I think I've mentioned this on the channel before. I'm actually going to go find that now, because what you can do there is insane.
Okay, whilst you're having a look, I'm just going to read his ability. It says, after you perform a barrel roll or boost action, you may choose a friendly ship at range 0 to 1. That ship may perform a focus action. So I assume that you could coordinate a boost or barrel roll, get the focus, and then do your normal move. And then if you coordinated a barrel roll, you could still potentially do your Vection Thrusters red boost afterwards.
Yeah.
A crazy amount of action economy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And with the fact that he can then pass some actions off, if you tee that up with another A-Wing, I am just trying to find
pair
it.
it up with anything.
Yeah. I mean, when I was reading it, I was just... It almost gave me a little bit of a headache just trying to read through it, because I was like, that is crazy.
Yeah, there's so many different ways that you could get him to do one of those actions.
Yeah. Here we go. So, whilst they're just doing their movements there, so this is in the appendix on the FFG rulebook. So Jake Farrell has the pilot ability after you perform a barrel roll or boost action. You may choose a friendly ship and 0 to 1, as we just said. He also has the ability after you perform an action, you may perform a red boost action. So the example they have here is Jake Farrell activates and performs a barrel roll action. At this point, both his ship and pilot ability trigger. He chooses the order to add them to the ability queue, adding his pilot ability first and then his ship ability. So he then does the boost. While resolving his pilot ability, he can choose a friendly ship at 0 to 1. He chooses himself and then performs a focus action. This triggers his ship ability again. Now, he adds the second instance of his ship ability in front of the first instance of his ship ability. While he resolves his ship ability, he then performs a red boost action, triggers his pilot ability and his ship ability again. He chooses to add his pilot ability first, then his ship ability. And it yeah.
So he can do his own focus ability twice.
So he can do it to himself
and then someone else.
And then, so what it is here, while resolving his pilot ability again, he chooses a friendly Phoenix Squadron pilot aiming at range 1. The other aiming performs a focus action and its ship ability triggers. So
I've been using Jake wrong, and I need to go back to him, because that's crazy.
Yeah, essentially you go, I'm going to move him wherever I want, and I'm just going to throw focus tokens at everyone on the board.
Speaking of throwing focus tokens, looks like Jake's got one, and we may actually have some shooting. Not the longest I've waited in a game to shoot.
No. So that's...
Looks like 2 hits.
2 hits. And evades. And that looks like that would have been from Sunfac there.
Yeah, who was he shooting at?
So Sunfac was shooting at the A-Wing.
A-Wing.
It looks like we've now got a shot from Chertek at K2SO.
Who has now opened his wings, so he is in attack form.
Ooh. 2 hits there, so use the focus to get 3. And so that's 2 evades and a focus. Spending his calculate, absolutely safe there. So now we've got Jake going to be taking a shot back. I assume that's going to be...
I don't know, if you use Chertek, if he's closer, that might just be in range 2.
So range 2, yeah, just had it called.
And with the tractor beam token as well.
Well, that's only going to be 2 evade. They're just double checking.
The old hand gestures are coming out again.
Yeah, so
he wants to check with his own ruler.
No, it looks like that due to the arc and the position of Chertek, although the models are actually within range 2, it's actually range 3.
Bases are range to each other, but in arc it's range 3. Okay, so
2 hits with the focus spend there, 3 evades coming back, and we have 2 focuses. Re-rolling for the ability. And
another focus and a blank?
2 focuses and a blank, so that is 2 damage there on Chertek.
And half points.
Yep.
I know as commentary we're supposed to be impartial, but I like the Rebels. So yay.
Oh, you've always been a fan of Rebels, and I don't mean it's unfortunately, I think the Nantex are a ship that unless you fly them, it's almost easy to be against them. They have a lot of negative connotations to them, but I think they're an interesting ship. They've got a lot of utility. It was unfortunate that there was no tokens. So we've got 2 from K2SO again on Chertek. So just checking if Sunfac is in K2SO's arc there. So it's in arc, but it's out of range, so it doesn't get that reroll there. So
Okay.
got the 2 of 8 he needed though to keep Chertek on the board. So that was Wily perform a so that's that one. Looking for that reroll, what's causing that? So while you defend, you may reroll 1 defense dice for each tractor ship in the attack arc. Just to clarify what that was for the rerolls, he was checking there. Gravitic deflection. While you defend, you may reroll 1 defense dice for each tractored ship in the attack arc. So checking to see if Sunfac was in the attack arc to get that reroll there. Unfortunately, he was not. But Chertek is still around with 2 hull.
It looks like that was the only damage that round.
Yeah, Jake managed to use his multiple evades to avoid taking damage there.
Now I wonder what he's going to do with Jake, because he could just turn in and try and get a decent range 1 shot. But he then risks being tracked onto that rock down there if he does.
Yeah, the thing is, with the Nantex, they've got their arcs pointed to ship right. Now, if they want to do their pinpoint tractor array, they have to turn their arcs. So a clever player would look at that and go, right, I know that he's going to have to move his arc to be able to do the pinpoint tractor array. And they don't actually have a tractor ability or a tractor attack. So it is pretty safe. But if you do come in hard, you potentially have 3 ships at range 1 to 2 staring at you, and that's not what Jake would want.
Yeah, so do you reckon he's going to go kind of down the board and head around that rock and get really behind them, or?
Well, I think it's a really tough one to say. I mean, I would. You've got the rest of them. You've got the rest of the rebels coming in as well. So
yeah, the other rebels are in a fairly comfortable position at the moment to come in and just volley something.
Yeah, I see those rebels turning in. Possibly K2SO trying to get in there and get a block on Chertek and Sunfac. Yeah, here we go. We've got the first Y-wing coming in. I reckon the one behind will probably do a straight rather than turn because there's no space for it. He's got the dorsal arc in the right way.
Now, yeah, the dorsal turrets are both facing to the ship's right, which is currently kind of up in that top left corner.
Yeah, so I expect them to all turn in. I think the Nantex are probably either going to 1 bank or 2 forward. Would be my thoughts. Oh no, it's actually quite a.
Yeah, he probably doesn't want to be. He probably doesn't want to be right at the front with K2, so he might just bump.
I mean, I reckon at this point, knowing that the Nantex are going to move up, I probably would be looking just to swing Jake in around. If you start going around that rock, I think you're going to take too much time to get back.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so it looks like Scott has managed to trick past these rebels, at least with Gorgle at the moment. The Y-Wings, potentially, I think Blue doesn't have a shot on Gorgle at the moment. It's outside of range 2.
Green is close.
And there we go. Jake did come in hard there.
What's he doing? He's doing a boost.
It's a boost forward. Okay. And so Tender, I'm doing a 1 bank in. So again, I think they're trying to set up a little bit of a kill box there. They've got good coverage towards the front. The Y-wings are covering towards the side. We look like we've got Tendum failing the barrel roll to get his stress there. Because we all know that B-Wing pilots love to fail their barrel rolls just to get that stress in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a B-Wing. It's kind of what they do.
Yeah. So focus the red barrel roll, fail the barrel roll, get that stress. So got some modifications on attack and some modifications on defense should he need it. And I think Scott's done quite well there to actually skate past. I would anticipate Chertek probably barrel rolling.
Yeah, if he barrel rolls forward, he's at least out of the U-Wing.
Yeah, because I wouldn't expect him to boost, because that'll put him right in front of the...
He might already be out of the U-Wing's arc. It's quite close. Would he be better off taking a... Oh, he's just barrel
He's
roll.
taking that barrel roll.
Fair enough. Get a bit of distance away from the A-Wing as well, I guess.
Yeah. So
although he is in Predator.
Yeah, he's in Predator territory there. So you are going to get Tennum and Jake definitely going to have a shot.
I think
some fact is going to get a shot.
The green Y-Wing can at least shoot out the front into Chertek.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think the only one that's not going to get a shot here now is the blue Grey Squadron bomber at the back of the formation.
I think, yeah, so both blue ships are not really shooting.
So this definitely favours Madbots now, and he's really got to hope that he can make the most of the fact that he is not getting shot by anything.
Yeah, if he can knock out Chertek, then it's then 2-on-5. Because I doubt that the Separatists will be able to knock out a ship at this position.
So yeah, we've got Jake going into Chertek, so it'll be 2-on-2 with Predator and a focus.
Spends focus.
Going to spend the focus, and that's hit crit. We've got a reroll, and that's
nothing.
That's
Chertek's
a crit.
gone.
Yeah, well, no, it's a crit on Chertek, so we'll see what it is. And that's a hull breach, so a blank crit for Chertek there, but still not what you want to see.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the other evade die.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's just if in the faded part.
Yeah.
And I don't think Scott enjoyed that either, but Tennum's going to see if he can finish it off. 2 hits, that could be enough. Rerolling both for gravitic deflection. And, yeah, Scott not happy there. That is Chertek
now
off
it's
the
dead.
board. Now it is dead.
Oh, he's got the fancy damage deck.
Yeah, he's got the Separatist damage deck. Scott is a big fan of the Separatists.
Which ship is it that's on those ones?
So you've got the Vulture droid on there.
Of course it is. Yes.
So yeah, Vulture droid on those. I don't really know which ones the other ones have got, to be honest. I've not got one of those. I've just got either the standard one, but I do also have the one that came when the X-Wing one that you got when you pre-ordered second edition.
I think because that one's X-Wings, I think they may have done Y-Wings for the new one.
They did do Y-Wings, that's right.
And I know it's T-70s for the Resistance, because I have been looking at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the other ones are.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Yeah, so that was 1 hit from K2SO onto Sunfac. Tried the reroll, didn't get it, so I had to spend the focus.
But no damage?
No damage though. Sunfac is still okay. But now we've got the green Y-Wing,
So
range 3 into Sunfac.
Range 3 primary. Can he do it?
1 crit. There it's fine.
Yeah.
He got his evades finally.
There they are.
And as we saw, Blue-Grey Squadron, which sounds really funny, Blue-Grey Squadron at the back there, no range, because the dorsal turret is only range 1 to 2.
So at this point, the Rebels haven't lost any health.
No, the Rebels are doing really well.
And they've taken out a third of their opponent's list.
And not only that, it was actually the I-4 pilot that they took out as well. So I think, in all honesty, that is really good. Losing that, so he's the one that had ensnare and gravitic deflection. Gorgle only has ensnare, so he doesn't get the rerolls if there's a tracted ship in the arc. So it definitely does.
And Sunfac will always be a higher initiative anyway, so there's no back and forth on who's moving first and shooting first.
Yeah, I think that was definitely. I mean, taking an enemy ship off the board is always a plus side. So right now, Madbots does have it is all in his side. It's his game to lose at this stage.
So what do you do with the Nantex? Do you try and do a K-turn with them or a sloop? Or again, I've not encountered them a whole lot. So
with their dial,
do they simply prefer to turn around more gradually over a couple of turns?
At the moment, where their arcs are facing the left of ship and left of the screen, they could probably just move up. I would say move up, maybe banked. With Gorgle, I'd bank or hard turn round that debris.
Okay.
Then use your pinpoint tractor array to rotate your arc, so that you've got shots coming back round. With Sunfac, I'd potentially be looking at doing a bank towards that debris, using the pinpoint tractor array, and then barrel rolling away from the debris.
Yeah, and it looks like the Rebels know exactly where they want to go.
Yeah.
Because he's moving K2 out of the way so this Y-Wing can head in that direction.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he's going to try maybe for a block with the U-Wing. Just get it really in the way.
I don't think the U-Wing's going to be able to get itself into a position to block, because I do not think that those Nantex are going to be turning in hard enough for anything to... The only ship I think that could potentially be in a position to block is either Tendum, if he goes a bit fast.
True.
So 2 or 3, I can't remember the dial on the B-Wing, but either a 2 or 3 hard, something along those lines. Or Jake, if he 3 banks up and boosts some barrels to try and get into the way. So there we go. There was the hard turn round the debris from Gorgle that I expected.
Yep. And now his turret turns and...
Yeah. I anticipate, I reckon, a turret turn, possible boost forward off the tractor, and then take a focus to get a bit further down. I mean, at the moment, green and blue have their dorsal turret arcs facing that way. Green also, there we go, there's the boost forward. That gets them out of green's forward arc. So it leaves only the dorsal turrets there. Depending on what Tendum and Jake do. I can't see, did Tendum spend his stress earlier on attack, or is it hidden behind the ship?
I can't tell. I don't think he did, but he may have. Yeah. But at the same time, there could very well be a token behind it.
And K2SO is doing a stop. Will he 90 or 180?
I mean, surely it's a 90.
Yeah, it's a 90. So that way he's going to have Sunfac in his arc.
And that's a red maneuver, so he's got a stress, so he also gets a calculate?
Yep. K2SO trigger there to give him a stress calculate. Really powerful, that. Being able to actually get a modification or a token there for modification off a stress. And That's the 3 bank. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a barrel roll here.
Now, how did Gorgol do that boost earlier?
So Gorgol did that with his pinpoint tractor arrays. So you gain a tractor token, which means that you can boost or barrel roll your ship. So he got the tractor token, boosted his ship forward.
Okay, there's 2 tokens behind it.
So
one is clearly a focus. I thought the other one was an evade. But...
No, so you've got a tractor and a focus there.
That's what was throwing me off a bit.
Yeah. And we've got Tendom coming in. So it looks at the moment that Madbots is very much going for Sunfac.
Yeah, he's positioned Jake in a very bumpy position, potentially, if
it's
has done some kind of bank maneuver.
Yeah. It's either aiming for that bump or aiming to be right behind Sunfac, going, you can't shoot me, but I can definitely shoot you.
Now, what happens if Sunfac has just done a 1 hard?
That would be very...
I mean, that's kind of close to a 1 hard. Is that...
So that's a 3 hard.
Around?
If that gets around Jake, that's
still not a great spot to be in, really.
No, that's not where I'd want to be.
Because that's unless 2, 3, 4 guns pointing at it at the moment.
What I anticipate then from that would be Sunfac barrel rolling down the board. Yeah, arc forward, barrel rolling to the right. So that gets him out of green Y-wing. He'll have Tendum, K2SO, and the blue-grey squadron shooting at him, but he's going to transfer that tractor token to whichever target he thinks is the one he's most likely going to put damage on.
And I would say that's probably 10.
I would say Tendum as well. It's the one with the least... Well, either Tendum or one of the Y-wings. I think
blue is too far away.
Well, green is right there in front of him. He would have a range 1 shot in bullseye as well. So it would be... If he's able to put that tractor onto him...
Oh, I see what you mean. I was thinking more move Tendum further away from you to be safer rather than going all offense on just tractoring the Y-wing and killing it.
Yeah.
So it looks like he has gone for the Y-wing.
Yeah.
And I think he's possibly opted not to maneuver it with the tractor being token.
So it just says you may transfer 1 tractor token to it. So I don't know if you can... If you transfer it, if you can move it.
I think tractor tokens activate once you get assigned it.
Oh, okay. Tractor's always one of those ones that's a little bit confusing. If you're a Nantex player, you probably know exactly how tractor works.
Yeah, it's a similar thing when I come up against Separatist swarms with the buzz droids. They get launched against me and I go, right, how do these work again?
Yeah. How exactly do I hate these things right now?
Yes.
So it looks like the green Y-wing was actually out of bullseye. So right now he either has a 3-shot attack, he's going 4 shots, and he's using some outer rim dice, which make it nice and easy to see. So it looks like it looks like he got 2 hits.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's leaving it at 2 hits. And that was on case. That was on the Y-wing actually. So it would appear it was in bullseye. So it's 2 shields off of the.
Yeah, so no defense dice because.
Stripped because of the tractor.
And then. Next we got.
Tendum is going to range 1 back onto Sunfac. Sunfac does have his token.
And he gets his deflection thing?
I believe so.
It's not the best roll for 4 dice, I think.
Yeah.
Then again, the green dice don't look too great either.
Yeah.
Rerolls 1 for a focus.
Yeah.
Spends the focus?
So, yeah, he spends the focus.
Spend the focus when you know you can.
Yeah. So there's only 1 damage in there. So it's take 1 damage or save the focus for the attacks coming in. He does have 2 more attacks coming into him.
Yeah, and now we've got Jake shooting into Gorgol.
Yeah. And
checking. That's definitely through that obstacle, isn't it?
It's definitely. I think they're checking if it's in arc. It's very close.
Oh, that's true. It might not be.
So they determined it was out of arc. So K2SO now has a range 1 shot on Sunfac. Spending the calculate, that looks like 2 hits and a crit. So that's 2 evades, got the reroll, and he is safe.
Nice.
A lot of slamming on the table there, but the camera manages to stay pretty stable, which is quite good.
And we've got the...
So
it's Gorgol shooting before the Y-Wings, isn't it?
Yeah, so no, the Y-Wings will shoot first. They have initiative.
Oh, sorry, yeah. All around.
So that's 1 hit.
2 focuses.
So...
Ability to reroll is another focus.
So spend the focus, yeah.
Stay safe, yeah. And then...
the other one is going... Spend the focus.
Okay, so both... Oh yeah, because this gun was point now.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a reroll there. 1 evade. So 1 damage on Gorgol there. So yeah, 1 damage on Gorgol. So I think Scott's actually got off quite fortunate there in only taking 1 damage on Gorgol when he had all those shots coming in on Sunfac.
Yeah. And now Gorgol has taken a shot at something. I'm not entirely sure what.
Not sure where it was going, but it missed.
No. He rolled 1 hit, and I think it went onto that same Y-Wing.
Yes, it did actually. I see that. Yeah, the Y-Wing has taken another damage. So,
which is why no defense dice were rolled.
Yeah, so focus firing down there. So 3 damage there onto that Y-Wing in exchange for 1 damage on Gorgol. I mean, Scott's going to be happy that he hasn't lost another ship with all those attacks that were coming in onto Sunfac. But I think he's also going to be a little bit disappointed not to have gotten a little bit more damage in there.
Yeah, I mean, he had a range 1 shot against a tracted Y-Wing and he got 2 damage in that shot.
Yeah. So that is a little bit painful.
And now things get messy in terms of manoeuvring, particularly for the rebels, because they are a bit on top of each other.
Yeah.
And K2 is stressed, so he can't do another stop. He could just do a blue forward and bump and stay where he is, but because he's initiative 3...
He's initiative 3, so he could potentially just bump into Tendum. But that, again, doesn't leave him in a great position later on. So I anticipate the Y-Wing. So I reckon Jake's obviously going to go around that debris. Big 3 bank followed by a boost to try and get behind Gorgol. Yeah. Tendum, once the Y-Wings and the U-Wing are moved, I reckon Tendum's probably going to do, a 2 hard towards the bottom of the board to try and keep in behind Sunfac.
Okay.
That's what I reckon.
What do you reckon Sunfac is doing? Going down towards the bottom of the board to try and get some distance, or try and stay in the middle and get out of the arcs easier?
It's a really interesting one because right now they want to try and keep guns on target, and it's almost an ideal point for the Nantex with the rebels now that close and facing at them. They know that they're going to sort of pass each other by. So you always want to try and... I'd be tempted to K-turn. I'd do the 5K turn with some fac, and I'd be looking at a 1 or 2 heart down the board with Gorgle.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, the difficulty is Gorgle's arc is pointing down towards the bottom of the board. So if he wants to use his pinpoint tractor, he'd have to spin that, but I don't think he'd want to. So I can imagine he'd do the 2 hard and then take a focus, and some fact do the 5K turn, then use his pinpoint tractor to possibly boost back 1 in.
Actually, okay, so we've got green,
2 forward. I mean, he's still got his arc. Would you spin the arc to the back, or would you keep it where it is and just...
you keep it where it is. Really, I mean, you either got a shot or you don't, which I know is most cases, but turning it, you're losing out on some mods. Although isn't the Rays taking any tokens?
No, I think they're having a bit of debate about something.
Okay.
So if you weren't turning your arc, focus, would that be what you take? Or would you try and take maybe a target lock at this point?
I think, I think
at
this point I'd maybe target lock Sunfat.
Yeah.
He's moving on.
Looks like he's moving on, so unless he's going to come back to it in a minute.
Maybe.
Does look like blue is going hard up the board.
Is that going onto the debris?
No, I don't think it would go onto the debris, but is it going
it's only doing the 2.
Will it pass?
That looks like
I don't think I think it's going to bump Tendum. Yeah, that's a big bump on Tendum.
Put him back.
But that, I think, works out quite well. If Gorgle is doing that...
Yeah, you see what your turret points in that direction.
Yeah, so if Gorgle does come down hard, then you've still got that turret in the right direction. And that way, you'd potentially still have green and blue pointing at Gorgle.
The only downside to kind of relying on those turrets pointing to the side is that they are only range 1 to 2.
Yeah, they're only range 1 to 2. They've only got 2 shots. Oh, he did take a focus on the blue oak. Oh, one hard. Okay.
Ooh.
So...
Now you could potentially barrel roll into maybe range 3 to stay out of the turrets.
Yeah.
Although his gun is currently pointing to the left of the screen.
Yeah, gun is pointing left of the screen, ship right at the moment.
Okay.
So what he could do is move it forward,
which he has done,
and boost. So he is going for that range 1 on the Y wing.
Yeah.
And again, he has ensnare. So more than likely, he's going to want to put that tractor token on that Y-wing and try and get some damage in there.
Now, what is this Y-wing up to? He is...
He's massively in Bump City, so...
Oh, that's a shame.
Oh, he's very much barely moved at all, so...
I can't help but feel like that's exactly where he wanted to be.
Yeah. I mean, he probably would have liked a potential 90-degree turn there towards Gorgle, or...
Well, he did that last time, didn't he?
Yeah. And then that's exactly what I expect Jake to do. I reckon barrel roll, boost round.
Now, do you boost and then pass the focus to someone else? Because I'm not entirely sure if he would have the shot.
It all depends on if he's in range.
That's definitely out of arc.
It's definitely out of arc, but is he in range to be able to pass that focus? He's going to
Well,
check
his action was a boost, so if... Oh no, it has to be the other way around, doesn't it? Yeah. But he's checking.
He was out of range. So 0 to 1.
So there's a focus. They're possibly talking about whether he can or can't.
Yeah, I think they're looking to see whether they can actually roll that back to do the focus action first, but
no. Okay, so Jake's taking the focus. Jake's probably not doing much this round.
Yeah.
And then
and 10 num is doing it too hard. Ooh. Does that clear, or is that bump?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Yeah, it does clear. So he's just taking the focus there.
Okay. Now it all really comes down to what Sunfac is doing. Oh, it was some sort of forward mover, which was a bump. So very good positioning by 10. However, he can still do his tractor beam stuff.
He can indeed still do all his tractor shenanigans.
So potentially he could just barrel roll down the board and out of the Ewing's arc.
Or potentially he just says, oh, he is going to move. Oh, getting out of the arc so you're not going to get shot is the right idea. He's put that arc to the left of ship. So that is more than likely going to be transferred onto 10 num.
I'm starting to see why people are frustrated about flying against these things, because you can bump them very well. Like, that was great positioning normally by 10 num, and now it's completely gone against him.
Yeah. It is very frustrating. There's not many ships that can bump and then just not care.
Yeah, it's what made version 1 Poe with BB-8 just broken.
Yeah. I think the only ship I can think of off the top of my head that could also do something not quite the same but similar is Captain Oiken Decimator with Dauntless.
I think the difference with those sorts of things is that they are unique pilots. Like Arvel with his, oh, you bumped me, it's intimidation kind of thing.
Yeah, whereas
with these, it's built into the ship and they can all do it.
Yeah. And I mean, yes, obviously these 3 ships are 187 points, but if you look at the Nantex in general, so you've got your basic Nantex, so your Stalgassin Hive Guard, Initiative 3, 29 points. For an extra point, you can go with the Petronaki Arena Race, which is Initiative 4 and has access to 2 talents. That's why you're seeing 6 of them on the board with a combination of Predator and Crackshot.
Yeah. But only really seen them all on the board on Tabletop Simulator because no one has actually bought 6. Well, not many people have bought 6, I think.
So there seems to be a slight bit of confusion there.
Okay.
It looks like Sunfac has just shot at the blue Y-Wing, but the damage has been assigned to the green Y-Wing.
Ah, okay.
So the overlay is showing it on the green Y-Wing because that's where it is. But it looks like that actually went onto the blue Y-Wing. So the green Y-Wing is now showing as having a disabled power regulator. But
whereas it should have simply been a shield off of blue.
It simply should have been a shield off of blue. So
okay, well, we'll have to see if the players catch it.
Yeah, it'll also be interesting to see how much of an effect that actually has on the game. A lot of evades there from Gorgle. And that is green shooting into Gorgle. And it would appear that Scott's dice are playing a lot nicer with him now.
It's averages, isn't it? Terrible at
Yeah.
the start, pretty good now, and by
Probably
the end of the
terrible at
game,
the
they'll
end.
be well, we'll see.
Again, dice variants are what they are.
Okay, so now they're activating that crit.
Oh yeah,
so the ion. Okay,
so he's
that's
ionized.
That is a bit of a misplay, but never mind. It's a friendly game.
Yeah.
That's a pretty nasty shot, though. So
that's a hit crit.
So that's Gorgle shooting into, I think, the blue one again?
Supposed to be blue, but again, they're putting it all on green.
All on green. They pulled out, I think, another
as structural
crit.
Damage. On a wounded pilot. So this is interesting because right now, Scott should have half points because that's what 4 more damage. Scott should have half points on the
on two of the wounds. Yeah.
So, I mean, it wouldn't be enough to put him in the lead because half points on both those would only be 34 points, and Chertek was 60 points.
I think the ion crit is going to be interesting though, because if the wrong ship does it,
it's gonna, because if it, so it should be, although it looks like they still actually assigned the ion token to blue, so they've got they've got that critical damage in the right place.
Yeah, the effect is happening on the right ship, but the damage is on the wrong ship.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the ion shouldn't have happened because it should have been a shield.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is going to have a big effect on the board state. So
one thing I like to do, especially when I'm flying ships of the same type, is have different coloured bases on all of them.
Yeah.
Just to help me clarify which is which.
Yeah, I use the numbers. I use the numbers. Because I just find that easier, and I've got like the corresponding like acrylic target lock tokens on there. But yeah, I mean that's a bit of a, and not only that, we have got them marked up for ease of viewage.
Stickers.
So, and I've actually started adopting using the stickers in my own as well. Like even in games I'm not streaming, like I'll use the stickers because
I guess potentially has he made a note of the cards that correspond to it correctly then?
Well, it looks like he's got the numbers that should correspond to it. I mean, it's something that Madbots can, when he watches the video back, he'll see that. And we mentioned this in the last game that we commentated together. It is quite easy for things to get missed. I mean, we saw in that game of Quinn versus Ed that we nearly had Vonreg alive for a bit more than he should have been.
But that didn't have much of an impact in the end because the players caught it and
they were able to roll it back, which was quite good. But here, we'll see, because that's now going to potentially affect what it's going to affect what K2SO does or can do. I mean, I anticipate K2SO closing those wings and doing a turn anyway, but it's still. Oh, that's a bump there from Gorgle. But...
So yeah, depending on what Gorgle does, may interfere with the direction the K2 turns.
I reckon Gorgle is going to barrel. Ooh, it's going to rotate, and then I reckon barrel roll. Oh no, he's going to try and tractor forwards.
Is he? Oh, okay.
Interesting.
I guess.
So
you get a bit of distance from Jake, maybe.
Also, seeing if he can get a really nice range one shot on that Y wing with nothing coming back at him. I mean, he's got green Y wing at the top. Still would have range 2 on him, but he's still got a really nice range 1 shot there. K2SO now has to decide. He's doing a stop. Does he want to turn, or does he want to stay where he is?
I think you stay where you are, because you don't know where Sunfac is going to end up, and they're right in front of you.
Yeah, and you've still got Jake and Tendum facing in the right direction to hopefully get Arc on where Sunfac ends up.
And the other thing is, K2 is in a U-wing, which is a medium-based ship, so even if he gets past the tractor beam token from somewhere, he's staying put.
Yeah. Although,
yeah, I guess he could get past 2.
It looks like the decision is get
that's a good
of
position.
Gorgle.
Yeah, Jake is coming in aggressive.
I mean, that's range 1 with Predator active. You're gonna... Oh, does he then transfer... Would Gorgle then transfer his token back?
When does the transfer trigger?
So at the end of the activation phase,
okay.
If you're attracted, you may choose one ship in your arc. His arc is up, so would that catch Jake?
I think it might, yeah. So do you then barrel roll him, I guess, potentially onto the debris?
Barrel rolling towards the debris, I reckon you might be able to get him onto the debris. Gets him out of the Predator range. Obviously, when you barrel roll, you do get the option of turning him taking the stress and turning 90 degrees.
Oh, yes, they updated those rules, didn't they?
But I don't know. I don't think I'd do that. I mean, if they're watching the timer as well, they'll know that they've got about 6 minutes left. So they just really want to be. Madbots just needs to choose Viners and try and get rid of Gorgle. Unfortunately, Tendum has no shot. Tendum's been a little bit ineffective since that first round of shooting, really.
I mean, B-Wings are not the most manoeuvrable of things, and these Nantex are all over the place.
Oh yeah, the Nantex are crazy manoeuvrable.
In a regular game, because he's still got that really good bump. I still really liked that position. It's just a shame that it didn't quite work. What have we got now? We've got people looking for, I think, where to put tractor beams, maybe? Actually, are there tractor beams to put down? I don't think they took any.
Gorgle took a tractor beam for his... because he had to give tractor beam to boost.
But Sunfac didn't?
Sunfac looks like it didn't. Looks like it didn't. He took a focus.
Okay.
Because his arc is already facing that way, and I don't think
because you have to rotate, don't you, if you take it?
And I don't... And he wouldn't be able to get a shot. If he rotated, it would be to the front or to the right, which means no shot, which is completely...
Yeah, okay. I can understand not doing that on him then. So what do you do with...
I think the tractor beam might have possibly been passed up to the blue bomber.
Yeah, I can see, I think, a token just below the
right nacelle, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Sunfac is taking a shot at something.
I would anticipate... Oh, I reckon that's Jake then.
3 defense dice, yeah, probably Jake.
Interesting. I mean, yes, Jake's obviously got the least health there, but...
And now...
Yeah.
Presumably Jake shooting into Gorgle. With
yeah.
Predator and a focus.
Oh, he just spent the focus.
Is that 2 hits and a crit?
Yeah. And so he gets a reroll.
He needs it.
And that's Gorgle.
Oh. So that's 3 times fast.
Yeah. And that was a fuel leak there as well. That was not good. Not good at all for Scott there. Admittedly, it does mean that there's no shots coming back in on Sunfac now. But 3.5 minutes left in the game.
Not much time left.
Yeah, sorry. I think the Rebels have got this. Even if we do take into account that Scott should actually have 34 points on the board, there's nothing he can take out in 3 minutes that will make up that extra 70 points he would need.
I guess with 5 enemy ships, all of their fancy maneuvering. There's too many arcs to avoid all of it. And I mean, the rebels had some good kill boxes, especially just now against Gorgol.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie, that was a lovely kill box they had there. It was the exact way you want to take out a Nantex. I think Scott shouldn't have boosted forward. I think that's what...
Yeah, that was a very strange decision in the end.
Yeah, I think if Scott had stayed where he was, Jake probably wouldn't have boosted in, so it would still have the shot, but he was also not actually in K2SO's arc. So
well, no, because K2 could have still done a 90-degree turn fired.
Yeah, true. K2 could
So
have
actually, I don't think it made much difference.
Yeah.
I guess what did it allow him to do? It let him turn his gun and put a tractor beam on Blue.
But he didn't get a chance to shoot, so...
Well, yeah.
And Sunfac didn't capitalise on there either. So 1 forward from Blue, flipping the...
One of the crits, I think.
Wounded pilot.
Yeah, wounded.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what they do, but I think at this point, Tendum is going to do a 1 hard up.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you just start turning all of your guns towards the general area that Sunfac is going to be.
I mean, essentially, you've got Jake and Tendum to follow and try and catch up. So
no fancy repaints in this game.
No repaints on this one, unfortunately. But I am looking to do a video featuring repaints from the local area. So get some of my repaints out. Obviously, Ed's got quite a few nice ones. Quinn has got some good repaints, some really interesting and cool ones in there. Might see if he can get his Captain Sparkles repaint out.
Oh, okay.
And I'm trying to think, there are a few others. I think we've got a...
they're going to be upset now that you started naming people. You got to name everyone.
With lockdown, it's been difficult. There's a few of us that do still manage to get out and play. Obviously, we do follow the strict social distancing rules to make sure that we are safe. The other week, we actually had 8 of us down, so we made sure we stayed in 2 bubbles of 4 and only played within those bubbles. Kept distance and everything, so trying to be as safe as possible. And I will say that Pete down at Entoyment is doing a fantastic job of enforcing those rules, but also being open and honest and saying, right, we want to stay open, this is what we've got to do. And I'm so happy that he's been able to stay open, because it gives us a space to play and keeps the local store going. And gives me the opportunities to get some games filmed regularly as well, which is always quite nice. So that is good. But yeah, there's a lot of people that I haven't seen for a while, so can't really remember what repaints they've got.
Well, we've got some shooting going on for this final bit. So Sunfac into, I want to say the U-Wing?
Into, K2SO's hit, crit. And that was a structural damage.
Oh, that would have been nice earlier.
That's what they would have won earlier. We have a range 2 from Jake, and this is going to be the last round. So, I mean, there's half points there for K2SO. So hit crits. 1 of 8. So that's a crit on Sunfac. What do we get? Wounded pilot. So we don't quite get half points on Sunfac.
Just checking if that Y-Wing has a shot. Does he have a shot?
I think that's our... Oh, actually.
Is it the Y-Wing's revenge?
Yeah. I've taken all the damage for all of the Y-Wing buddies here. Do I get to shoot you back? So range 2.
Does.
Primary.
I see.
Spend the focus for
dice.
1.
Could get half points.
Nope, there's the evade.
Ah, there it is. Okay.
So, all in all, interesting game. Slightly different to what I expected with the Nantex. I think it's different. It's a differentness to what I'm used to seeing, which is the 6 Nantex, which make it a lot harder.
What would you have done differently with the Nantex to try and, I guess, survive more?
I think with the Nantex, I think one of the problems they put themselves in a corner. They were trying to avoid all of those rocks on the right hand side of the
spent
board.
too long trying to get the opening that they wanted, and it ended up not being the ideal opening for them.
They had what could have been a really interesting opening round, but then it didn't. It just didn't go to plan at all, which is what really hampered them. Losing Chertek so early on.
Yeah, it was
just
the second round of shooting.
Yeah, second round of shooting, losing Chertek just really reduced the amount of guns on target. And against a 5-ship rebel list, you need to have those guns on target as long as possible. And if you don't have that, it's really tough. And all in all, Madbots, he flew a very tight formation with a lot of arc coverage. And with that, that's going to make it difficult for 3 ships that are hoping to be maneuverable.
Yeah, he flew the rebels very well. Had lots of guns pointing in lots of directions, which you kind of need to do against maneuverable ships.
Indeed. I think what we're going to do is we'll call it there. So thank you very much for coming along, James, to watch that video with me and
no problem.
Give us your insights. Hopefully we'll get you back on the channel again soon. But thank you very much, everyone, for watching this video. As always, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell to know exactly when the next video has gone live. And we will see you next time. Thank you.